ORICO sent over this docking station for me to review and test. And it's got a couple surprises to it. So let's get this thing open and see what the surprise is. The ORICO docking station 12-in-1. This is what's next. ORICO did contact me, and for full transparency, this product was sent to me for the purpose of review and testing. But just know that this video has not been reviewed by the vendor before it was posted, and all of the opinions are of my own. So let's get going here. All right, here we go. Got a little compartment here. Looks like we have, we do have a USB-C cable. So there is our book, the ORICO D35M2-V1. And it's in 2 languages, both English and I believe Chinese. We actually have an NVMe, looks like a heat sink with a thermal pad right there. This is the power supply. And if we look at that, looks like 140 watts max is what this will put out. And last but not least, we have the case itself. Now, we'll do a size comparison to the MacBook. This thing was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. I'll get this out of the packaging here. This is quite large. And if we happen to set it next to the PowerBook or on it, you can see that actually does take up some room. So as far as docking is concerned, it's definitely much larger than some other docks that I have purchased in the past. The reason for that is because, if I take this off, there you go. You have your NVMe drive right there, and then you have the SATA connection right here for the much larger drive. So we're going to be putting in some drives here, but what I wanted to do is let's take a look at the ports that's included on this device. All right, on our first side, we have our DC 20 volt in. Right here, we have the PC in, your 10 gigabit USB-A port. So I believe that's 3.2. HDMI 4K and a LAN port. So that is 1 gigabit. All right, on the other side, we have 2 USB-Cs and 2 more USB-As, a TF card and an SD card slot. And then we also have the power button for the hard drive and the SSD. On the bottom here, we have some feet, and that actually is pretty decent. It sticks to the ground pretty well. So if I'm doing this and kind of moving it, actually the lid is a lot more movable. It'll stay put, and then you also have a vent hole down here. The only thing that I've noticed so far that seems a little wonky is this lid is very loose. So not that, I mean, you could put stuff on it, obviously, but just know that it's not a tight fit. I wish it was a little bit better at connecting up to the 4 indented spaces here. But at least it does stay on, and I guess once you put the drives in, then, you know, you're probably not going to be taking that off too often. So our next step is going to be, we're going to just insert some drives. I have my 3.5-inch hard disk drive. So we're just going to transfer it into here. And then the other thing that I'm going to do, and I didn't realize this, I bought this a long time ago off of Amazon. And I don't know if you could see that or not, but it is also ORICO. And there is an NVMe drive in here, and I have no clue what this is. Let me go ahead and we're going to get these things installed and see how easy that is. Should be pretty easy. By the way, it's a 256 gig drive. I think it sells for like, what, $70 now? And I probably picked that thing up for like 20 something. So there's a little ridge, and it should fit right in the ridge like so. Then it'll go in, and then this should just fit right into place once we get this connected up. And there you go. Installed that pretty easily. And then of course the SATA drive on this end, it just sits in here. So there's no other connection, and that's it. I mean, you couldn't get much easier when you're installing 2 drives into this. And now, of course, the weight of this is definitely a lot more substantial. All right, we have the power plugged in over here. We have our USB cable connected here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this into the slot right here. I heard a bing. All right, it's asking us, do you want to connect to this generic 4-port USB hub? And I'm going to say, yes, let's do that. And I am charging. Now, the next thing I want to do is let's get the drive spinning up. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the power button. And then is it going to do anything? Something's spinning up. Oh, this is exciting. Do I have any lights? I got 2 lights. All right, so there is my password. I got to enter that. Hold on. All right, look at that. The backup drive for my MacBook Pro is actually backing up now. So it is getting a little loud on the drive. I can hear the mechanism, and it's with the plastic. It's almost being amplified. Now, the other thing that I noticed is I'm not seeing the other drive. So let's see if I can find that drive somewhere on this system. So I must have installed Linux on this or something, but there's the drive, 250 gigabytes. I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to erase that and make that a Mac disk. And we're just going to leave it as untitled. And let's see if that actually does anything here. Mounting. Should get another drive. There it is. All right. So right off the bat, we have 2 drives working currently from this one little box. I believe the 3.5, 2.5 inch, that's up to 18 terabytes. And I think it's only 4 terabytes on the NVMe. Let me double check that real quick. So 18 terabytes for the 3.5, 2.5 inch SSDs, HDDs, and M.2 SSDs is 8 terabytes. It'll take M key and M and B keys, and then all 4 sizes. So we got our NVMe drive is selected here in amorphous disk mark. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to see exactly what our read-write speeds are. Let's give it a few moments and I'll come back. Not bad. You know, again, for an external drive, those are the numbers that I was expecting. And again, I'm not even sure what that 256 gig drive actually is. So I'm going to take that. That's a plus. I think the next thing we're going to do is we're going to try a USB thumb drive here. This is supposed to be SSD speed, so we're going to give it a shot and see what the benchmarks are on this. Well, we ran into our first problem. These USB-Cs are kind of inset in the device, and so when I try to plug in this drive, it can't make a connection because it can't go back far enough. So you want to keep that in mind. I mean, literally, it almost fell right out. What I can do, though, is we can do this test, and we can try the USB-A connection, and we will see what the drive speed is on that. Okay, we're coming up to the last test down here, but you can see, at least up here, on the higher speed side, 637 read and 622 write. I am going to do a test here because I did find an extension cable, and we'll see what the USB-C speeds are like. One thing to note that I neglected to talk about was the fact that this drive, the 3.5 inch drive here, was doing a backup on the Mac. I don't know if that was taxing the system, so take the scores with a grain of salt. Well, and again, we couldn't connect the USB-C up to these 2 USB-C jacks here. So this extension cable will work. It is back on the desktop. We're going to select this drive one more time. And let's go ahead and we're going to do a test. And we're just going to see if these numbers are maybe a little bit better through USB-C. Well, not substantially different, but, you know, again, still decent scores now that the thumb drive, the OWC thumb drive, is connected up through the USB-C extension cable. What about SD cards and TF cards? Now, of course, with the MacBook Pro, we already have an SD card reader on the side, but, you know, again, if you have a laptop that doesn't, then this should be fine, and it should just go in like so, and we're going to see if it shows up, and yep, there it is. There's our SD card. Thumbs up there. And to run an Ethernet cable from the other room, which is normally my office, it is plugged in here. Wireless is now turned off. I only have like a 500 megabit connection, so we're going to see if we're getting close to that. And yeah, so low 600s, mid 550s. All right, and then so we're getting a decent connection there. My upload speed is terrible. It's only 20. But let's see. There we go. Are we going to hit it? Yeah, and that's about what I normally get. So I'm going to give a thumbs up on the Ethernet. We're up to our last thing to test tonight, and that is this Pixio monitor. It does have a USB-C connection where it can actually drive the monitor. Let's give it a shot and see, will it actually run? And you can see over here on my Mac, I'm not seeing an additional display. I'm getting no signal there, so we're going to say that no, you can't drive a monitor from the USB-C connection. All right, we have the HDMI connected. This uses the mini HDMI connection here. And if we plug that in, are we going to get a video signal on the Pixio? All right, the monitor is working and we have a resolution of 1920 by 1080, that's correct, and 60 hertz. That monitor panel doesn't go any higher than that. So, all right, I'm going to say that that was a success. We got the monitor working. We've did all this other testing. It's time to take it back to the studio for my final thoughts. Hold the phone, hold the phone, hold the phone. I thought I was done doing my videotaping, and I started hearing a buzzing sound during the recharging of the laptop. And I thought, you know, it sounded like a fan. And if we take, so I took this whole thing apart. Not too bad. It's, 7 screws in the feet, which is on the bottom. You have to take the feet off. You get to the access to the screws. So there's the board. And then lo and behold, there actually is a fan. There is this chip right there. And if I can look at that, that looks like it says Ray MX. And I think it is RM1211. So I'm not sure what that is, but yeah, that's the makeup of the board. Getting it back together should be easy. Let me get my glasses back on again so I can see what the heck I'm doing. So this basically just, lies in like so. And then that just sits in like that. That's all there is to it. So that's the inside. And so now I think it's time for us to take it back to the studios for my final thoughts. You know what? What are my thoughts? It's a little plasticky, but that's fine for the cost of $130, and to have the 2 drives that you can put into here, removable lid, although it doesn't stick very well, so keep that in mind. And a little noisy with the drive, but overall, the ports that are on here is going to make it really simple for me to connect this up to my KVM switch upstairs so I can watch everything on my big monitor, and I only have one cable to worry about. Again, 10 gigabits with the USB-C and USB-A. You do have the SD card slots right there. You have the Ethernet port and the HDMI out. For the cost, I think it's a decent deal. Of course, drives are not supplied, and knowing the cost of drives today, if you don't have any extras laying around, maybe this won't be for you, and you might be able to find a lesser expensive dock that just does the basic connections. But if you like what you saw, and you thought it was informative, if you could go ahead and give me a thumbs up, that would be greatly appreciated. There's also the subscribe button down below if you want to watch more of my shows and be notified when they become available. Also, I have a link to my Amazon store. If you found any of the reviews that I've done in the past, check out the store, and if you could purchase it through there, that'll help support the channel. In the meantime, you can watch another video either here or here, and until next time, I'll see you again for another episode of Hey, What's Next?